WBCP is leading the industry in HR consulting, effectively bringing competency modeling to public sector, nonprofit, and niche organizations. The Polaris Competency Modeling System has the power to transform the way we select, assess, develop, and retain workers in the modern workforce.
The Polaris Competency Modeling System can make your organization more innovative, more effective, and more equitable.
Probably at the top of the list is this whole notion of a common language for talent management, which integrates all your systems so the systems speak to each other and synergize. They help you select, they help you promote, they help you develop, they help you manage performance, clarify roles. So all of those things are good in terms of human resources and getting the most out of your talent. A competency model provides a concrete set of criteria for leadership, and teaching leadership in that diffuse term isn't as effective as teaching leaders that they need to have good communication skills like active listening, or maybe you need public speaking skills, or maybe you need relationship building or emotional intelligence skills. So all those are specific enough to get traction on a leadership development program. Competency modeling takes exemplar performers and emulates them into a model, into a set of competencies that's the ideal state. And that ideal state then becomes, criteria for selection or promotion. They can be used as learning objectives for training people who are new to the role.
So if you're looking to move up to a supervisory role or executive level role, there should be laid out core competencies and what it's going to take to actually get to that point in your career.
Typically, competencies are presented on a set of cards, like a deck of cards with each competency. So you can imagine a card that says problem solving, organizing and planning, communication skills. So one way to introduce managers to competency modeling is to say, okay, here's a target role.
There's a total of 41 cards in the Polaris deck, and each card has one specific core competency. There's a front and back to that card, and it gives you examples of if there's too much of that competency, of what that looks like, and if there's too little and what that looks like. And if you're looking to develop your skills, it'll give you a good representation of exactly what you need to do in order to be proficient within that core competency.
Let's take the competencies and have them independently sort the cards against the competencies that are essential for the role, and then compare the sorts. And so you can get kind of a numeric convergence on what's required for the roles. Probably the primary one is in hiring. So you'll see competencies in interviews, right? So you can see through the interview questions to they're asking me questions about problem solving or my time management skills, my influence skills, my communication skills. You can also see them in job descriptions, right? So helping with a role, clarify a role, that these are competencies needed for effective performance in your role. You can use them in career planning. So this is where I'd like to go in the organization, and these are the competencies that are needed to elevate my current role or my current position. So competencies provide a template for diversity on a team and for all the different roles on a team.
What you can do is start hiring for competencies rather than hiring based on minimum qualifications. And you sort of free yourselves from the constraints of those minimum qualifications that could be excluding great potential applicants that maybe don't come from traditional backgrounds.
So scoring methods in public sector traditionally have relied on benchmarks like skill requirements or degrees or years of service, right? Which may or may not actually equal competence, proficiency. So using competencies in DEI initiatives is step back a little bit and think about what promotes diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's fairness, right? And so competencies are one of the more fair ways of looking at candidates to apply for a role. When you rate a competency, you're rating somebody's proficiency or performance for the role. We've actually used them as part of a DEI initiative in a large organization to make sure that selection is very fair.
The Polaris Competency Modeling System really has the power to revolutionize the way you develop your organization, the way you develop your staff, and the way you hire talent.
Transform your organization with the Polaris Competency Modeling System. Reach out to get started today.